All right, good evening and welcome to Rockin' Renegades. I'm a Sid Draftstorm. This is the Rockin' Renegades fantasy show. I am filling in for Rolf Petrosky. He is sick. He's under the weather. He got his first fantasy win this year, so I think he was out celebrating. Drank a little bit too much of his moonshine he drinks, so he's sick. So I'm filling in for him. And of course, we got John coming on also, my the co-host of the Rockin' Renegades. I want to start it off though. And let everybody know that there's a jersey. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is down below right now, www.youtube.com/@sportsbible24. If you subscribe and become one of the first 500 people that subscribe, we're going to give away this jersey. It's autographed by Heinz Ward. It's from the Gotham Knights movie, the Batman movie. It's a great jersey to have, man. You put it in a jersey protector, have it hanging in your game room. It's a great piece to talk about. So subscribe to Sports Bible. You can't go wrong, man. You're gonna get draft information. You're gonna get hockey, basketball, football, baseball, fantasy football. We do a little bit of everything. So no reason not to subscribe if you're a sports fan. Our co-host is actually our advertiser tonight. John, how you doing, man?
Sean, how you doing tonight, man?
Good. You call me JT, man. I'm JT. I'm sorry, but I'm JT, brother. That's what I go by.
JT, we got it.
You got it. JT.
Hey,
I was John.
Ralph down, man. What's going on? He's sick.
I don't know. He got his first fantasy one. I'm telling you, that's what it was. But now Ralph said he's got that bug that's going around. Hopefully, nobody out there that's listening right now gets it, because it's a good one. It's a doozy. It's not one you want to have. So
that's right. Get better out there, brother.
But hey, why don't you start it off? We're sponsored today by Fastlane Coffee. Let the people know what Fastlane Coffee is all about, man.
JT, I mean, Fastlane Coffee, like I say every week, is close to my heart because it's my own brand. Fastlane Coffee. You can get it at rockyourjava.com. 8 specialty flavors, all guitar influenced. You know, I have a heavy metal hard rock label, RFL Records and Entertainment Company. And with all the things that go on with the Fast Lane, you know, I thought, hey, I really love coffee, so let's try to do something with it. So we put it together. And you know, Fast Lane Coffee, I mean, it's I'm not just saying that it's delicious, but it is delicious. Not only because it's my brand, but it's you know, like I said, those 8 flavors, bold, stand out. I mean, it represents the brand very well. Fastlane Coffee, rockyourjava.com, and I'm glad to be a sponsor for the Rockin' Renegades, man.
I appreciate it, man. I love it. I love the fact that you're sponsoring. We need a good coffee. You're getting us good coffee on here. One of the things you got to get a singer coffee. I'm a singer, man. I sang in Ralph's band for a couple years. You got to get a singer Java, man. Maybe some better. Doesn't get any better than this. How about that? It's a great name for for maybe a berry coffee or something. But hey,
right. Man involved.
Each week of the fantasy season so far this year, we have seen I hate to say it, but we've seen some major injuries, and week 3 was no different. Talk about some of the big injuries that happened, and I know there's some players that went down that people that look at as starters every week, and they're going to have to find a backup plan. Name some of the storylines this past week that happened.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you had a chance to see any of the games, you know, I watch Red Zone religiously along with the Steeler game. You have, you know, 2 TVs running, one with each on it, so I could see everything. But, you know, I think one of the things, you know, that you got to see, which was brutal, was that James Conner injury.
Yeah, he got carted off.
Conner, you know, we know him very well here in Pittsburgh. You know, the guy overcame so many things, you know, cancer, and the guy's a fighter. He just never gives up. And to see that injury, you know, was brutal, out for the season. But, you know, that leads into a guy named Trey Benson, you know, Connor's backup there in Arizona. And he's, you know, a younger guy, obviously, and he's got a lot of heart, but he's got a lot of steam too. I mean, you could see the youth there, and he hits the holes hard. He's a a power back with speed, can do a lot of things, and I think he's going to be a great pickup for people that are looking for that Connor replacement.
And one thing I would like to ask you guys that play fantasy football and die hard like you and Ralph, when you get an injury early in the year like this, like to a quarterback or running back receiver, a guy that you always look at as your 1A, your starter at each position, do you look, you personally, do you look to try to make a trade right away, or do you try to hopefully have somebody depth wise on your team that you maybe just say, okay, I'm going to give this guy a shot, or do you just look at the situation of your team? Like if you have a good backup, you're like, all right, it's time to lay it on the line with him. Or are you an aggressive guy? I know Ralph loves a trade. I mean, I've
Right.
been around Ralph long enough. He would go out and trade. But what is your personal, what's your personal way when you have a big injury? Do you look right away to make a trade, or do you just try to maybe find something on the waiver wire, or do you go to your depth that you drafted, hopefully?
It's a little bit. I'm a little bit different, but it also depends on the league that I'm in. Like in Ralph's league, it's a dynasty league, so we keep 10 players
Mm-hmm.
every year, but we also have a 30-man roster, of depth. I mean, it's an IDP league. So we have a lot of players there, but I have 3 quarterbacks in that league. Actually, 4 quarterbacks now because I picked up another one. But it really depends on what kind of league you're in. But like I say, for my work league, it's a limited roster, and usually what I do is I try to draft. I always go running back first. That seems to be the best way for me to look at it. When you look at injuries like this every single year, so I go running back, receiver, but then I go quarterback. Third pick, and then sometime like in the 7th round, you could get a guy like like Jordan Love this year, or Dak Prescott dropped down. To have a guy like that in that range, to where you could keep it, and then because if your guy goes down, Dak is going to be for the situation there, he's still going to throw 2 to 3 touchdowns a game because he has a lot of weapons around him. So that's kind of like the way I look at it.
And when you look at a dynasty league, like say you get a guy, say you have James Conner. Well, a team that's bad, like a team that knows they're going to be bad this year, like in your dynasty league, will you have guys that try to trade for an injured player just to put him on their roster, just so they can have an extra guy to protect? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might have some bottom feeders that are like, this is my chance to maybe pick up a guy or two that I wouldn't normally be able to get, and maybe a guy like you that maybe, hey, I'm one player away from, I think, making a run. Is that something that happens more in a dynasty league?
That's a great question. Really good question. I think when you look at it, you kind of look at it, later on in the year. You start to look for guys like, say like Brandon Ayuk, that went down with the injury, or, in a situation like that, I usually wait till later in the season. Even if I have, a winning record and I'm going in, but I'm thinking next year. I mean, in a dynasty league, you kind of think like, like an NFL owner, which is really cool about that league. And that's what I like about it so much is you look to the future more so than, trying to build for the present. I tried to build my team. I picked up another guy's team last year, and then I tried to build it as best I could this year, and the team's 3-0 this year. So,
Yeah,
I try to build veterans and rookies.
You have to walk like a tightrope because you want to win, but you don't want to sacrifice future draft picks and future prospects. That's what makes it a unique league. By the way, Philip Clark, he is my partner on the Steelers Rewind. He says the bug is for real. Hope it's a 24-hour count. We hope so too, because Ralph's the kind of guy. I feel bad for Toya right now because I know she's taking care of him. He's whining and crying, and Ralph, we love you, but Ralph's probably asleep right now. He's probably watching the Pirate game. That just pissed him off right there because you don't watch the Pirates. But
that's it. That makes you sicker.
But there was another thing that happened this past weekend. I think there was a little kid in Homestead with a Steelers stuffed animal just stabbing it and hurting all the ex-Steeler players because another running back went down for the year this past weekend, and that was Najee Harris in LA. So we lost Najee and James Conner for the year. in the same weekend, which is sort of a little
Crazy.
foreshadow of a Pittsburgh Steelers thing. But does that open the doors for Omarion Hampton? You think his kid could become one of them rookies that now, maybe puts up 1,300 yards and becomes a good chance to be like a rookie of the year type player?
I actually think he had that in him already. I drafted him in my work league, and you hate to see an injury like Najee's, non-contact. He just comes up and you see that that Achilles tear, and I always liked Najee here. I thought he was a good player. I thought he was put in a situation that was kind of really lousy. I mean, bad offensive line. Obviously a coaching staff that can't get it together. We can go into the Steeler piece, for all night. That.
No.
But I like Omarion Hampton. I like the situation that he's in because he's in a good offense, and obviously Harbaugh he loves to run the football. I mean, what running back wouldn't want to go play for Jim Harbaugh in a situation like that with all those weapons? The defense has to account for everybody, and you're going to get all the carries now, most of the carries. You're going to get the receptions out of the backfield. So Omarion Hampton owners out there, look for an excellent season. I mean, hopefully this guy stays healthy, but he's going to be a star in this league for a lot of years.
TC Javor says start Scatabo. I think every week we have somebody say something about Cam Scatabo, but everybody
Good
loves
player.
Cam Scatabo, man. Scatabo is just one of them guys that you fell in love with last year. Always at Arizona State during that run at the end of the year.
Start him this week too. Start him this week.
Yeah, that's one of your stardoms this week.
Yeah, Cam just with with Tracy hurt. You got Jackson Dart coming in. Is supposed to be starting this week, or actually for the rest of the season. This is the Giants rebuild right here. I have a good friend, Tommy Florio, he hosts a Hard Rock and Sports radio show. I mean, he's a Giants fan, good friend of mine, and we were just talking about that in a chat today.
And they're putting together. They're putting together a nice. I mean, Wandale Robinson's a nice number 2. Neighbors has potential to be in that same conversation with Jefferson and Chase. I mean, he's that good. I mean, if you get the ball anywhere near that guy, he catches it. I think the Giants do have a nice little. I love Abdul Carter on defense. I think the team is they're set up nice. Put it that way. They make them right next couple of moves. I mean, they messed up on Indiana Jones. I mean, Danny Dimes. I don't know. He's become a star. TC said, do you think that the turf is the reason why these Achilles are getting torn? There is something going on with these athletes, man. I don't know if it's you're seeing it everywhere, man. College football. I mean, you're seeing it in baseball. You're seeing it everywhere. These athletes, I think it has more to do with the muscle build, man. I think these guys are.
I think so too.
Their bodies are so in tune and just so everything's right that their knees. You're better off being a heavy set guy that just moves to the right. Your knees don't give out. It's like, oh, it hurts a little bit, but like these guys that are in athletes, man, they just. I do think it has to do with working out and just being. Your body just can't. I don't think these bodies are built to do this, man. I don't. I think
Right.
That's why you don't see as many offensive linemen tear Achilles tendons. If you see more, just stuff like this. But
yeah, you got the twitch muscles and those guys. The level that they run at and the cuts and the things like that. It's you're seeing a lot. Najee's injury. I mean, it was like you said, non-contact. He wasn't even near anybody, and it just
that's usually what happens. Like when you see a guy get hurt in a game and nobody's near him, that's usually when you go, uh-oh, like that's usually when it is. It's like I never had it happen to me, but people say it's like a rubber band just snapping. Like it's not a good feeling at all. TC has another question. I lost James Conner, but have Scatterbill on the bench. Do you think it's a lack of preseason snaps, or you think they're going to wait, what was it? Do you think it's the lack of preseason snaps and they are going? Oh, that's a good point. That's another reason too. Yeah, I think these guys are going into the season with less wear and tear on their body, and it's like a new. These guys aren't playing at all anymore preseason, so a lot of these running backs and that. So I think that might have something to do with it too, man. But I think it has a lot to do with just the the workouts, the way their bodies are. I mean, you didn't see this back in the day, man. I mean,
No,
who was the old Green Bay Packer that made all the great comments? He was a funny guy that always was like back in Bradshaw's day, a little bit older than Bradshaw, but he always made these comments. He goes, ACL was like we didn't when did they invent that? We never had them because I mean them
yeah,
guys didn't
yeah.
get hurt like that, man. I mean, maybe they did, maybe they played through it, we didn't know it, but I mean it is a whole new thing, man. I think it has something. I do think it has. That's a good point though, TC. I think it has something to do with that as well. Some of the other things that we saw this past weekend, John, Mike Evans, uh, Terry McLaurin, and CeeDee Lamb. That's three top 10, 15 receivers right there.
That's
Who do
right.
you like in their spots? I mean, from them teams. I know we have Pickens in Dallas. Do you think he becomes more of a go-to guy in Dallas?
Yeah, I think you see. I think you see Turpin involved a little bit more. Uh, I think Pickens obviously is going to be the guy. You'll see a lot more of Ferguson. Actually, Ferguson is the he's the one of the he is the most targeted player along with Chris Olave in this league that have no touchdowns yet.
Wow.
So it's something like that. But I think you're going to see more of Ferguson. You're going to see other guys having to step up. And the Mike Evans injury is another tough one. But we got Chris Godwin coming back, which I think is
Hmm.
I'm not going to say he's Mike Evans. Obviously he's more of a slot guy, more of a possession guy. But to have him back, obviously with the rookie now, Ibuka, he's that guy's amazing. If you saw the catch he had last week
Oh,
on a
Emeka
sideline,
Egbuka.
ridiculous.
Egbuka might be one of. I mean, he is literally putting on a clinic right now. That's probably the leader
Yes,
for the rookie. That's the rookie of the year in my book right now. I think that's the guy that has all the
I
talent.
absolutely agree.
And let's talk about if you had to pick an MVP right now. I know it's early; it's week 3. Wouldn't Baker Mayfield have to get some votes, man? That guy's just. Like, I mean, Cleveland. What were you looking at? Were you watching the same games that we were watching? I mean, this
They
guy.
don't care yet.
It's just amazing, man. Like we were just talking about two teams, the Giants and the Browns. You had Baker Mayfield and you had Daniel Jones, and I think both guys didn't really have a chance that they could see, but
Well, what a
it's
storyline too, JT. I mean, what a storyline. Looking at Danny Dimes playing up in that Colts offense. I mean, just absolutely lighting it up. And everybody picks against him every single week. You see them go in there. The defense is playing lights out. Jonathan Taylor is back to the old Jonathan Taylor that we were drafting #1 a few years ago. That team, that storyline right there. I think there's a few guys. Obviously, Josh Allen, is a standout, and I'll tell you who I was very impressed with this past week was Jared Goff. The way
oh
they
yeah.
played the Ravens, wow.
I'll tell you what, man. And by the way, I just figured this out. The Ravens play the Chiefs this week. Is that the biggest 4-game gauntlet I've ever seen on a team schedule? Buffalo, Detroit, they got KC. It's like
That's
I mean
right.
they literally have they can literally go 1-3. They can go 1-3 to
They
start the
could.
season.
They could.
Um, which only means they'll play some weaker teams as the year goes on, of course. So um,
They're a good team. I mean, they're you know, as much as us Steeler fans hate the Ravens, you
oh,
know,
they're
uh,
good.
you have to give it to John Harbaugh the way that team is structured and built. Ozzie Newsome obviously is a huge part of that over the years, but the strength. I mean, how often you see Derrick Henry fumble in 4 straight games? That's not going to happen. You
That's
know,
and big times in the game too, which is
right?
it's even more. I mean, he's I think it's actually becoming a mental thing with him because he's actually you can tell it's beating himself up over it. That's going to be a unique thing to watch, and that's going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, Baltimore and it's Baltimore at KC. So I mean, not only do they play in these teams, they're playing them on the road as well. So it's a
Oof.
tough way to start your season. TC, talk about Indy screwing up. You're right. I mean, if you listen to my draft podcast back, I've been doing this for like 5-6 years now with the draft. I was totally against Anthony Richardson even being a first round draft pick. I was at the combine when he did what he did, and I looked at the guy next to me and I said, he just made himself a first round draft pick that he shouldn't be. I mean, I watched a ton of stuff with him at Florida and thought the guy was overrated coming out, and Indy was a team that that made that move, and they did mess up, but they did a good. They look like they got it right though with Daniel Jones, and I give them credit for not giving. They made their move, and they it didn't matter. The guy was a first round pick. They said, oh well. I mean, that's the one thing that's really going on more and more in the NFL right now is teams. Your first round pick, it ain't gonna really save you. I mean, you see it with Pickett, you see it with all these guys. Like you ain't putting the numbers up, man. You're gonna be gone. Doesn't matter if you're a first round pick or a seventh round pick.
That's right.
Andrew
That's right.
Anderson, yo, what's up, brother? Andrew Anderson runs the Villains Media, which I'm a part of with Draft Storm. So it's a great network. I'll be on his show tomorrow night at 8:30. I'm running myself ragged this week with podcasts. Lots of podcasts this week. I'm on Friday night as well with No Mercy
That's a lot.
Sports.
Hey, I know all about it, man. I feel for you, JT. Believe me, I feel
Yeah,
for you.
no, yeah, we are still good, Andrew. To get back though, who is your and let's get this up here to Fast Lane Coffee Player of the Week. Who you giving it to, John?
Well, it's the same as the fast lane packaging that I have right here, and that's the Minnesota Vikings defense. I mean, JT, we were just talking about that. 5 turnovers, 2 touchdowns. I mean, they for Browning to come in and play that defense, you feel sad for that kid with all those weapons that he has around him. We thought that we're going to pick him up on a waiver wire and he's going to fill in nicely, obviously, for Joe Burrow. But, that Vikings defense and Brian Flores, our Steelers got him coming up this week.
Yeah, it's gonna
What
be
do
a
you
rough
think
one,
about
man.
that, man?
That's gonna be tough. And let's also hear you guys that follow PFF. Isaiah Rogers got the first 99.9 rating he got for that game. He had a interception return for a touchdown, a fumble return for a touchdown. I don't think he gave up any catches or yards. He played astronomically amazing game, and that was part of it. But yeah, I mean Flores, he got some talent there, man. Dallas Turner, I love Dallas Turner. I was in a sim league a couple years ago. I had the first round pick. I took Dallas Turner. I think his kid's gonna be a beast, and he's at that point where edge rushers don't do a lot their first year usually. So look for him to have a big season this year.
That's another team too, JT. And we talking about Jordan Mason on as a running back. Tough. I mean, the guy is to see to see him jump in like that. I think he's going to win the starting job now. Obviously.
Oh yeah, Jordan Mason. That kid's tough, man. TC said I played Minnesota D, scoring 30, and Jalen Hurts scored 35. RIP wants you to be my neighbors. RIP wants you to be my neighbors.
Neighbors had a rough game.
Yeah, he did.
He really did. I mean, 1 catch. I think he had 1.5 in fantasy scoring.
And Russell Wilson got benched after that. That's why Jackson Dart now will be. I mean, after coming off a 450-yard game, so the Giants are in like a weird situation, man.
They really are. And like I said, that's what I was talking to my buddy Tommy about. We were talking about Jackson Dart coming in. But what does it say for Brian Dable? I mean, he came in there, and we thought that he was going to, fix that team and get that organization back on the right track. And, to get to this point now, 0-3, he's got to bring in his rookie. It's really just to save face. I mean, this guy's going to need, like I said, he's going to have to win 10 games this year to save his job, in my opinion. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is a setup for, the new coach that's coming in to run the Giants. He's going to start new. He's got Scadabo. He's got Neighbors. He's got, Jackson Dart, who I wanted the Steelers to draft, actually. I was high.
Yeah, I was looking for Dart, too. But I'll tell you what, after watching Derek Harmon for 22 snaps, I'm excited, man. This guy looks like a game changer on that defensive line. So we need to stop the run. So that's a whole whole other situation. Or he has neighbors in Chase, and he said it ain't looking too well. I thought he'd fly to the ship. I mean, I think I would have been pretty happy too with if your quarterback is Jalen Hurts and you have them two. I thought you drafted a pretty good team, man. But that's his name of his fantasy team too. Is Won't You Be My Neighbors? That's a pretty good fantasy baseball football name. So
TC Neighbors is going to be fine, man. He's going to be fine. I think Jackson
yeah.
Dart. They already have a rapport together. I think it's going to be a good combo right there.
And
So
the Giants,
I'd stay positive with him.
yeah, the Giants were on teams. The Giants, you're doing the stock, like the stock market, if up and down. They're definitely a team with the plus. I mean, they got the right. We talked about they got the right pieces in place. Now it's just, and I think I agree with what you said about Dabo. I think find your guy to bring in there and take it to that next level. A guy like what happened to Brian Flores? We're like a guy like that. Like I've heard the different rumors about him. I heard he interviews well, where I didn't hear that about the other guy that was supposed to get a job for like 5 straight years and never did. I heard he interviewed horribly. That was Eric Bieniemy. Remember,
Eric Bieniemy
Bieniemy was supposed to be. I heard he was a terrible interview. Like, it's a guy that just didn't really offer much or do much. It's just what I heard through the grapevine. But
sounds right.
the other thing for this week, who is your guy? Like, is there a guy out there? You said Scatterbo already. In New York, is there any games that you think really match up well for you got the Giants playing the Chargers. The Chargers, by the way, are for real, man. I mean, if I had money right now, $1,000, and they said you got to put it on a team in the AFC West that's going to win that division, I'm putting it on the Chargers. I'm not putting it on the Chiefs or the Broncos. I think the Chargers are the best team. Even losing Najee, I think they have the most depth on that league. How about the Patriots? Hunter Henry, he had a big game against the Steelers. You've been pretty high on him all season long. Do you think he's going to have that rapport with Drake May, where maybe he puts up a pretty big season, maybe become a top 3 or 4 tight end in the league?
It seems like it. We saw that when he was with the Chargers. We saw glimpses of it. Coming into New England, he has he's starting to build that rapport. When you have a young quarterback like that, your tight end is always the guy that's or most of the time is the guy that you want to go to. He's the check down guy beside your running back. I like I was telling you backstage that I didn't start him last week. I had him ready to go. I had him in my lineup, submitted, and then decided to change to Kyle Pitts and everybody that's listening out there, if you have TJ Hawkinson against the Steelers this week, start him in every league. Pittsburgh can't cover a tight end. I mean, it's been historical under Mike Tomlin. Can't cover a tight end. I mean, it's amazing to me that you could bring a tight end off the bench and he's going to put up 6 for $150 and a touchdown every single week. I just say if you have TJ Hawkinson, that's the guy I'm starting this week. In all formats.
And Steeler fans, I hate to say this, but we'd be in a much better spot if J.J. McCarthy never got hurt, because Carson Wentz is that kind of savvy veteran that'll just eat us apart and chew us apart. The only good thing about him is if we have the rush that we had last week with the 5 sacks, I think we contain him with the pressure, because Carson Wentz is not going to move out of the pocket. So you put the pressure on him. But that's gonna be a tough matchup, man. There's no doubt about that. Anybody you're starting to sort of lose hope for? Like any players in the league right now, you're like, man, I'm staying away from this guy. Is there any like veterans that you're just like, all right, this guy's pretty much done? I mean, like an Aaron Rodgers. Do you think Rodgers still has the numbers to put up some big games, or do you think is there anybody out there you're just like, you know what, man, I think I don't buy on this guy anymore.
I'll tell you who I've been down on, and I have him on my team in Ralph's league is C.J. Stroud. I know he's not a veteran, but
that whole team, man, has been down. Like, I don't know what's wrong with them. Don't know what's wrong with them.
I don't either. I mean, I got Nico Collins too, but you look at the makeup of that team. I mean, they got a lot of good players, a ton of talent. I think an excellent head coach. They just can't get it together. They can't make the plays when they need to make the plays, and they turn the ball over in terrible situations. That puts them out of good teams win games like that. And I thought the Texans were a top team. I mean,
I
I
thought
really
so
like
too, man. I thought they were going to be that next rung underneath, KC and
right,
Baltimore and Buffalo. Before
right.
we go, John, I just had the question in my mind. Where did it go? Crap. What was I going to say? It's going to hit me as soon as we get off the air. But let people know. Let people know about your Fast Lane Coffee, man. Like, talk about where they can get a hold of it. Phone numbers, anything you got to get that they can get a hold of it. Website, whatever you want.
Fastlane Coffee is available at rockyourjava.com. There's 8 different varieties right now. 8 different flavors. They're all guitar influenced. I'm a heavy metal guy. With the record label and with everything that we do, it revolves around the fast lane. So try the different flavors. I mean, there's chocolate. You got caramel. You got praline. You got so many different varieties. And different pieces. But it's a smooth coffee. It kind of reminds me of when you go to that cafe, that little diner, and you get that
Mhm.
coffee that's just that's what it reminds me of. And I'm not just saying that.
I can go
Fast
for a
lane coffee.
coffee right now, man. I can. Like, coffee's one of the things, man. It just can have it in the morning, can have it at night, can have it. It's a great drink, man. The coffee is that's why it's a billion dollar industry, man.
It's a necessity. There's no doubt about
Uh,
it. Most days,
there is
most
no
days.
doubt. I cannot remember the last question I wanted to ask you, and it's going to drive me nuts. Um, it was feeding off the that's what it is. I'm feeding off the CJ Stroud thing. Real quick, are you are you through with Trevor Lawrence? Is Trevor Lawrence over? In your opinion, was he overrated? And he is who he is. You're not going to see nothing more from him.
What's it's funny about Trevor Lawrence is just when you think you count him out, he'll have a couple good games, and you kind of get back on it. Well, I think he's going to jump back in. I you know that's so hard to say. I think we could really say that we can count him out at the end of this season. I mean, that team, that they're probably one of the biggest enigmas in NFL history. You think Jacksonville, yeah, they're going to do it this year. They got their guy, and they bring in the good rookies, and that's a great question. I mean, I think Lawrence, is what he is. I think he's down into that level of mediocrity right now.
TC says he'll figure it out. TC, how many years you got to
He
give a
does. He
guy to
does.
figure it out? But how many years you give a guy to figure it out? I mean, he has weapons, man. Brian Thomas is pretty good. Um, I agree that he hasn't had like a stable of receivers all at once. Like, back in the day, they used to have Keenan McCardle and Jimmy Smith. They had a great combination back in the day. He hasn't really had that, but I don't know, man. I just think that he's a guy. I mean, for coming out of college, he was considered one of the greatest at the time when he was in Clemson. He was considered one of the best quarterback prospects coming into the draft of all time. I mean, he literally
He
was.
was.
I mean, and
He was.
I don't think he's going to figure that out. I mean, I think he's a valuable quarterback. Like, if Pittsburgh would have made a move for him last year instead of Rodgers, I'd have been happy with it, because I mean, anything
Yeah.
besides a 41-year-old quarterback is just going to play 1 year and be done. But John, it was a pleasure. I could talk football all night with you, man. I wish I could. I wish I could talk football
Me too,
24 hours
JT.
a day. But once again, thank you to Fastlane Coffee. Once again, guys, do not forget about the Heinz Ward jersey. Sign up on YouTube. It's real easy to do. Find the YouTube page. Come on and get a chance to win a Heinz Ward autographed jersey for free. You got not gonna charge you anything to try that. So John, thank you. Ralph, I hope you're out there listening. Probably not. You're probably gonna listen to this tomorrow after you wake up from your poops and your throw ups. But Ralph, I hope you get better, man. Next week, check out these guys 8:30 every Wednesday night. John, thanks you very much, man. Have a great night.